My name is Leah, and I'm a senior executive at a major company in Atlanta. When I was 26 years old, I never imagined a simple request would turn my life upside down. I requested a pay increase. That's all just a figure of years spent building a company from the ground up. But Jacob, my husband's brother, the newly crowned CEO, looked at me as if I'd spat on his shoes, his lips curled. "We don't serve destitute supplicants here." He sneered, the space freezing around me, every executive's stare slicing into my chest. I smiled calmly. On the inside I was fuming, but on the outside I was still the devoted, composed VP everyone thought they knew. I nodded, gathered my documents, and departed. I didn't yell, I didn't plead, I schemed. We weren't strangers once. I'd guided him, watched him struggle and fight his way into the boardroom. I'd celebrated promotions with him, helped him through crises I'd never taken credit for, and now he insulted me over an honest request. Betrayal tastes bitter, sharper than any insult, but I consumed it. Every insult, every patronizing glance I committed to memory. It didn't take long to notice the signs. A casual remark he made about old systems I'd created, quiet deletions and shared drives, financial approvals delayed without explanation. I tracked every oddity, every small discrepancy. The image emerged slowly like ice spreading across a window pane. He wasn't just cruel, he was careless with the company's future, reckless with the foundations I had established, and he underestimated me. Planning retaliation isn't an art. It's a science. I became invisible, attentive, helpful, almost fawning in public, but behind closed doors. I audited every account, every offshore operation I had set up. Years of hard work, of trust quietly documented and meticulously logged. I held the keys to everything. Trust embedded in agreements, legal frameworks, multi-signature accounts. I was invincible because I had never been careless. Every morning I watched him ascend. With the arrogance of a king who had never truly earned his crown, he delighted in the degradation of others, forgetting that authority is only as secure as the hands that possess it. I collected my proof, not for lawyers, not for HR, not for anyone. This wasn't about them, this was about him, and he would learn the consequence of underestimating me. I waited for the right moment. Weeks passed. His insults grew more public, more dramatic. Executives exchanged glances, wondering if he had always been this cruel, or if the pressure of his promotion was revealing his true nature. I was patient. Patience is the most underrated weapon. Then the day arrived. Office was humming with attention, so thick you could taste it. I walked into the boardroom calm, composed, carrying only a laptop and a smile he was at the head of. The table radiating dominance, ready to use me as an example of insubordination. "You wanted a pay increase," he said, his tone dripping with condescension, eyes flicking to the executives around us. "We don't reward incompetence here." I closed my laptop slowly, letting the click echo through the room like a gunshot. The silence was immediate, stifling. "Incompetence?" I echoed, calm, deliberate, or ignorance. His smirk wavered, a slight twitch in his cheek. I could see the start of doubt flicker in his eyes. Executives leaned in. I opened the file on my laptop: charts, transfers, signatures, all the offshore accounts I had helped establish, all the financial lifelines he assumed he controlled. With a single command, I executed the freezes. Minutes later, the room descended into disorder. Phones rang, unanswered. Employees whispered frantically, realizing that every branch, every client payment, every asset was suddenly locked. The empire he had assumed was his collapsed silently but completely. I watched his face, shocked disbelief, the kind of panic that spreads like a virus. He was screaming now, but his voice was drowned out by the realization. He couldn't move a single dollar, couldn't reverse a single transfer I had. Waited, watched, and then struck with precision. "You underestimated me," I said softly, leaning forward, voice controlled, each word deliberate. "You mocked me, you humiliated me, you thought I'd collapse under your arrogance, but I am the architect of everything you think you own." He was trembling now, lips quivering, eyes wide. For once he was powerless. The boardroom, once his stage, had become his confinement. Executives turned to me, fear and awe mixing in their expressions. No one had ever seen him like this. I had destroyed the illusion of his power in minutes. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. The quiet after the storm spoke louder than words. I stood, collected my laptop, and left the room as quietly as I had entered. He stayed behind, trapped in the wreckage of his own arrogance, forced to confront the outcomes he had ignored. Later I watched from my office as legal teams hurried, auditors questioned, and the media whispers began. The company would endure, but it would never forget who had frozen it and why. He would carry that disgrace, and in every glance, every whispered conversation, he would remember. I thought about my husband, about family dinners and shared secrets, about loyalty twisted into betrayal. I did not act carelessly. I did not ruin his life out of malice. I restored equilibrium, justice executed quietly, efficiently. Revenge is an art best painted in subtle strokes. The satisfaction isn't loud, it's in the power of watching the betrayer realize that their world is no longer theirs. It's in the control, the proof that patience, intelligence, and careful planning outweigh arrogance and cruelty. Reflecting, there's no joy in his fear, only the clarity of justice. The betrayal is repaid, the balance restored. I am not the woman who politely asks for what she deserves anymore. I am the woman who ensures respect, who protects what is rightfully hers, who lets the consequences fall exactly where they should. I learned long ago that fear he will rebuild, but never without remembering, and I will continue building. Quietly untouchable, silent every move, calculated every step, precise. Every heart, every mind that underestimates me will meet the same frost, and when they do, I will be waiting.